New Tracy Breaks the News starts tonight at 9:30 on BBC One.
Yep, so Tracy's back and breaking the news in half an hour here on BBC One, while the comedy starts here. So, speaking of news...
Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Frank Skinner. In the news this week, archive video footage shows that the man who developed the TV format of The Voice didn't get it right first time. 2 weeks after the royal wedding, footage of the cucumber sandwiches being prepared explains why Camilla spent the next day in the bathroom. And at a secret location in England, the bodyguard looking after Sergei and Yulia Skripal finishes off another day's laundry. On Ian's team tonight is a playwright who once said of television, it is the most difficult medium to work in. It doesn't know if it wants to be art or mass entertainment. Well, tonight it's neither. Please welcome Lucy Prebble. And with Paul tonight is a comedian who, as a German, is just about the only person here who has blanked out his diary for the whole World Cup. Please welcome Henning Wehn. OK, so we start with the bigger stories of the week. Ian and Lucy, take a look at this.
OK.
Next Prime Minister? Oh, no.
Ah, that's the country as he wishes it was.
Black and white. Oh, looking decisive. Oh, yes. Move to the right.
Oh, who's that?
That's George Soros trying to make us vote again. Well, that's the big story, then. Brexit.
Again.
Just for a change.
Yeah. It's ongoing, isn't it?
It does appear to be, doesn't it?
It's very strange. It's like American news is perfectly suited to the medium of today, like 24-hour news and Twitter and all of that. Lurid, it happens incredibly quickly and it's all crazy. And then British, it's just one thing forever, like a turgid epic poem that just goes on and on, where you don't really understand what's happening or any of the people featured in it.
Everyone in here, if you had your time again, who would vote differently?
Well, what's that going to tell us?
No. I'll tell you what that is
50% put their hands up. Well, that's conclusive.
No, what that tells us is absolutely pointless to have a second referendum, because for anyone to vote any different, they would have to admit they got it wrong the first time round. No one's going to do that.
No, people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All that talk about, oh, if there's a second referendum, there will be 80-20 in favour of Remain, not on your Nelly. No chance. It will be exactly the same outcome, because say you weren't happy with the level of immigration 2 years ago, you're not going to be happy about it now.
No.
So if you thought 2 years ago the country was run by unelected European Union bureaucrats, well, nothing over the past 2 years would have changed your opinion on that. Well, and if you were daft enough to fall for that 350 million quid a week for the NHS law, you're daft enough to fall for something else next time round. It's a complete waste of time. Let's just get on with it.
What a terrific policy that is. You should be in the cabinet. Doesn't matter what it is, let's do it. Fantastic, Henning. You are wasted in comedy.
Britain went to the polls on June the 23rd, 2016. There was that question, do you fancy some never-ending palaver? The majority of people said that's exactly what we're after. Upheaval and loads of it, and now we're having upheaval. Lovely, let's get on with it.
Yeah. This is the news that billionaire George Soros is funding a campaign to have another referendum on Brexit. How did he acquire his wealth, according to the respected historian and social commentator Roseanne Barr?
Oh, yeah, we might get in trouble just by repeating things that she said.
She called him
I
a
wouldn't
Nazi.
Yeah.
Yes, she had a Twitter spat with Chelsea Clinton in which she declared George Soros is a Nazi who turned in his fellow Jews to be murdered in German concentration camps and stole their wealth. If he's ever a guest on here, that'd be a nice introduction.
It's not true, though, is it?
No, it's not true. He's a hedge fund manager, I mean, which you can either approve or disapprove of, but, I mean, his wealth is on display, and he says, I am paying out because I want to change the Brexit verdict, which has annoyed people.
And what must be annoying for him, though, is that I believe he was born in Hungary and he was sort of 13 or 14 at the time of the Second World War. And he was... Sorry, Henning, I don't mean to bring that up. But,
It took us a good 2-3 minutes. I'm happy.
I just would imagine it's quite annoying to then be called a Nazi, you know, and particularly at a time where there are some people literally calling themselves Nazis. What are you doing about that, Roseanne? Well, pretty much you're supporting them. It's pretty bad.
What did Roseanne blame this terrible remark on?
Didn't she blame it on Ambien or something? Didn't she blame it on some medication?
Yes, she blamed it on sleeping pills. And the chief executive officer of Sanofi said, while all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of Sanofi medication.
But what's happened? She's been sacked from her show.
Yeah.
Yes, they've pulled her TV show and her agent has sacked her, and she's had 3 offers from Top Gear. So, what's Jacob Rees-Mogg been struggling with this week?
Should he be Prime Minister or not? Is that what you're after?
No, his investment company.
Oh, the Russian investments.
Yeah, let's answer that. It's much more fun. His hedge fund, or private equity capital company, has been revealed to be huge investors in Russia. And Rees-Mogg has repeatedly said, we've got to punish Putin, we've got to have really effective sanctions. And then someone, it was the Mail on Sunday, in fact, said, well, what about your company? Do you think you shouldn't invest there? And he said, oh, no, I don't make the investment decisions. Someone else does that. It's emerging markets. I couldn't possibly say that. Take back control, but not of your own investment. Great story. I loved every minute.
Hasn't he made some manoeuvres?
Yes, he said that he doesn't want to be Prime Minister, which is hugely popular.
Right. But hasn't he literally moved house to be much nearer to Downing Street? To sort of a £5 million, £10 million property from which he can sort of talk about the elites ruining the country?
Absolutely.
Sounds good, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a big old house. He has got about 20 children, doesn't he?
You're exaggerating.
He's got 6.
Yeah, why doesn't he live in Somerset? Because he's the MP for Somerset, isn't he?
He lives there as well, Henning.
Ah.
In this country, you're allowed to live in 2 or 3 places at once.
But
Is that how he's managed to have so many children?
Yeah.
According to the Mail, Jacob Rees-Mogg has bought a £5 million home next to Parliament, fuelling speculation that he's positioning himself as the next Tory leader. I didn't realise to become Prime Minister, you first had to be in the catchment area. According to the Mail, the property is a 5-storey, 18th century townhouse, or as Jacob Rees-Mogg calls it, a new build. Meanwhile, George Soros has been attempting to undermine the result of the EU referendum. According to The Guardian, Soros is a billionaire financier, the 29th richest man in the world, and Jewish. A spokesman for Labour said, see? Paul and Henning, take a look at this.
Ah, lovely carrots being picked. Avocados. Avocados and carrots. Somebody from the 1940s. Oh, yeah, hello. And, oh, God, these dreadful self-service machines in supermarkets where essentially you work for them. Avocados and carrots, nobody can tell the difference.
It's shoplifting, isn't it?
computer-assisted shoplifting.
Computer-assisted shoplifting, robots.
Of sorts, yeah. So essentially, you pretend that what you did, you bought carrots, but you're going home with the avocados because they're cheaper by the kilo.
Right.
The carrots are, so...
Is that why that woman had such ludicrously large sleeves?
Yeah,
Basically
exactly.
just smuggling avocados.
Yeah.
What happens is at the self-checkout, customers key in carrot when it's actually an avocado on the scale. It's a simple trick that supermarkets are hoping won't be publicised. Criminology expert Emmeline Taylor was working with retailers to reduce shoplifting when something extraordinary emerged. One major supermarket discovered it had sold more carrots than it had ever had in stock. In a further shocking revelation, supermarkets found that 800 million more carrots were apparently sold last year than in 2013.
Actually, I'm not going to say how I know this, but about, just for your information,
Yeah.
40 carrots, about 1 bottle of Prosecco, if anyone fancies.
Which high street shop do you hate the most?
W.H. Smith.
W.H. Smith.
It's got the most number of complaints from a survey of 10,000 people.
Yes, sadly.
Yeah, they don't sell nearly enough copies of Private Eye. They're all me, the complaints.
The staff aren't particularly well trained these days, and they're sort of not giving good service, apparently.
I don't think of them so much as a shop as like a museum for 12 years ago that you can kind of wander around when you're waiting for a train and you're sort of like, oh, wow, do you remember when we used to, like, fill our filofaxes with that? Or buy, like, you know, basically magazines which are kind of just glossy pages that make you hate yourself that you then throw away.
Not all magazines are glossy. And
Yeah,
big
sorry.
Some have a sort of matte finish. And they don't make you hate yourself. They make you hate nearly everyone else.
They do seem to have some pricing issues. Do you need some folders? Here you go. You can buy 3 for $3.99, or if you want, you can buy 3 for $4.99. Pritt stick, $1.69 each, or the bargain price of 2 for £4. What about some minstrels? 2 for £3 or $3.25 each. To be fair to W.H. Smith, they do offer some genuine reductions. There's a delightful game of cat bingo for sale. It was 1996, now 1995.
I've never seen that breed of cat before in the Middle Serengeti. I don't know, that's a very lovely-looking cat, but I've never seen one like that.
Do you cross one off when you see it? Is that the idea?
Yes, that's probably it, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
You get a
sure,
bingo card with pictures of cats on them. Yeah, you bet you're right, but that's what it is.
No, I think you have to run one over.
When you fill up your card, you shout out, mouse. Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
Let's move to the luxury end of the retail market. For £935, you can get this from fashion designer Balenciaga. It's a T-shirt with a dress shirt stitched to the front of it.
And they cost £995?
935. Stop exaggerating.
Well, if you're daft enough to wear a shirt like that, you're daft enough to pay that amount of money, aren't you?
But is it 2 in 1? Can you wear it the other way around? So
I
you can wear the
suppose
dress
you-
shirt and the
you
T-shirt
could.
on the back?
Are you considering that? Is
I
that
am.
you go for that then? would you?
For my casual and smart wear.
You'd always feel like you were queuing. Bit great for sodomy, I must say, but still. Sorry, everyone. That was one of those things.
Is that an old catchphrase, Frank? Served you well in the old days.
I'll say it did.
Frank Skinner, great.
I bought me a big house.
Has he got a back garden? You're making up your own jokes and then quoting it.
But thank you for coming with me.
I'm sure you've said that more than once.
Do I detect a note of end of term in the atmosphere? This is a claim that shoppers are running expensive avocados through self-checkouts but saying they are cheap carrots. Carrots aren't always cheap. The one Theresa May offered the DUP cost over £1 billion. They don't have this sort of problem in Scotland. If anyone tries to buy a vegetable there, an alarm goes off. And so to round 2, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
This is Raheem Sterling, the England footballer, who's just been revealed this week has a new tattoo on his right leg of a gun. And this has caused a great deal of consternation amongst, I think The Sun was the first to pick up on it. They're saying it's glorifying gun culture, whereas his version of the story is because his father was killed, shot when he was very young. It's a kind of reference to that. It's tattoos, isn't it? You know, I mean, when I was growing up, the only person I knew had a tattoo was Popeye. But now
You knew Popeye?
Yeah. I knew olive oil before she was virgin olive oil. I could so... Not sure how that's technically possible, but never mind. So, yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And he says it isn't finished yet. There's more to come, so...
How's he going to soften it up, exactly?
I'm not a tattoo designer. I get mistaken quite frequently, but no, I don't know, maybe, like, have a Smurf there or something.
That would do it. Some people are demanding he plays in leggings in the World Cup to cover it up, but Sterling has asserted his right to bare legs.
I mean, Frank, you're a football fan. Is there a racial element to the criticism?
He gets a lot of incredible stick for no very good reason.
What sort of thing?
He has been singled out by the tabloids. Here's one. He queued for a pasty from Greggs.
Oh, well...
And that he got some new batteries from Pound World.
Yeah, that's just stupid, because they'll be empty in a week. Oh, yeah, and then on the one hand, they say he's too flashy, and on the other hand, he got criticised for shopping at Primark or something, wasn't it?
I once flew EasyJet, and the headline in the paper...
What, just the once?
Yeah.
How did you get back?
Sorry. The headline was Frank Skinflint.
So you went on EasyJet?
Yes. Is that fair? Sorry. Social media is a theatre for a lot of tattoo discussion. There was one I particularly liked. Someone called Penman Declan thought that the picture might actually show Sterling's fellow footballer Peter Crouch. And I couldn't see it at first, but look. OK, yes, this is Raheem Sterling and his controversial gun tattoo. A lot of England fans say it's crossed the line, but then again, Henning, they said that in 1966. Come on, it's better than the war.
It's very much the same level, isn't it?
Yeah, well... I had a tattoo on my 60th birthday.
Did
Actually,
you?
yes, just my name and address. Time now for the odd one out round. Your 4R, Queen Victoria's coronation ring, the 1435 from Newcastle to Reading, New Zealand, and the new lift shafts at McGull Station near Liverpool.
I'm guessing this is something to do with things that didn't happen, because there's been complete timetable meltdown. I mean, the trains haven't arrived, or they've been cancelled, or... I mean, Northern's the worst, but all the railway companies have been unbelievably terrible. I just mention it. Obviously, it doesn't bother me personally. I just hate them all. Sorry, what's the question about?
So Ian's pleased to be on this show every week because at least he can get a seat, isn't that right?
Where did the Reading train end up this week? That's a sort of...
Oh, was it in Manchester?
New Zealand?
Well, it went somewhere opposite to where it was supposed to go.
What's the opposite of Reading?
Illiteracy.
Yeah.
Oh, classy.
Simultaneous.
The answer is they're all in the wrong place, except for New Zealand, which launched a new campaign recently to remind people that it's there at all. It's true. Why is New Zealand having to remind people of its existence?
Does it not appear on a lot of maps?
Indeed. It keeps getting missed off maps.
Oh.
And the Kiwis are not very happy. Here it isn't on a standard map of the world.
Oh.
Here it isn't on the wall of a Starbucks in Bournemouth.
Well, they've done their research, haven't they?
Yeah. But best of all, here it isn't on the New Zealand government's own website. So, what happened to the 1435 from Newcastle to Reading last Friday?
Ended up in Liverpool.
Well, it got lost after taking a wrong turn.
That's the most pathetic excuse ever.
If the driver doesn't know the way, there's so many tracks out there.
Yeah.
Or maybe he forgot his map.
Yeah.
And then it's once you, even when you realise your mistake, them trains are notoriously difficult to turn round again.
and it arrived in Pontefract instead of Reading. It was eventually terminated in Sheffield, 170 miles away from where it was supposed to be. So the new lift shafts at Maghull Station on Merseyside were built in the wrong place, according to local resident Andy Wells. Why is Mr Wells furious about that?
Is it a view from his house?
Yeah, here he is relaxing in his garden. According to Andy, the towers suddenly appeared over the course of just a weekend. Well, if you got the number of that builder, Andy... Network Rail failed to comply with the original plans and admitted that the position of the lift shafts is out by ½ a metre. Andy, who's furious, expressed his feelings to the Liverpool Echo. I think it's a metre. So what happened to Queen Victoria's coronation ring? I'll give you a clue. It's something to do with an archbishop.
Oh, he nicked it.
No.
He put it under his cassock, said it's a carrot. And ran for it.
Well, it must have been put on the wrong finger. There's nothing else that it could be.
That is correct. According to royal historian Carolyn Harris, the ring was sized for her little finger, but the Archbishop tried to ram it onto her fourth finger. There was also a terrible mix-up when they put Prince Albert's ring on the wrong penis. The wrong
That was the Duke of Argyll, wasn't it?
On the subject of a wrong place, if you think you've accidentally walked into the back of a TV crew's film shot by mistake, you know when people walk into the back of a shot, how would you deal with it?
I think walk normal pace and run round the back and then keep appearing.
Well, this man thinks he has got the answer.
And as a result, they say that that is discriminatory. It goes against equality law and it infringes, they say, on Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which is that it violates their right to private and family life. They're also saying...
You see, I don't think he'd even seen her. I think he was just running a little bit early for an appointment. Yes, they're all in the wrong place except for New Zealand, which has launched a new campaign recently to remind people that it's there at all. At Queen Victoria's coronation, the Archbishop of Canterbury forced the ring onto the wrong finger. A similar mistake happened when, much to Prince Charles's dismay, the ring that was supposed to be put on Camilla's third finger actually went on Diana's. According to the Daily Mirror, a train from Newcastle to Reading stopped at Pontefract, Yorkshire, and in the end, passengers heading south had to get off in Sheffield and catch another train to Birmingham. All's well that ends well. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Beecraft, the informed voice of British beekeeping.
Yeah, real buzz about it.
Yeah. apparently the Queen reads it. And we start with shocked couple return from honeymoon to find what?
Prince Philip's changed the locks.
They're related.
They're man and wife.
Bringing us back.
They're man and wife. Shocked couple return from honeymoon, finally related, they're man and wife. It was a story with a happy ending. A whiff of incest, as that unfortunate perfume was called. Never sold much at Christmas, did it? But that's what it is, finding their married couple, husband and wife.
Now, a shocked couple returned from honeymoon to find 6-foot-high fence on their doorstep. After 11 days in the Dominican Republic, 20-somethings Thomas and Rebecca Entwistle returned to their Lancashire property with stunning countryside views to find the local farmer had erected this.
So?
Wouldn't happen in the south of England. I mean, a couple in their 20s owning their own home. OK, next one. What is not something bees are known for, but that could be wrong?
Manoeuvring themselves out of an open window.
No, it is intelligence. According to the researchers at Queen Mary University, bumblebees have been trained using various methods to roll a ball into a defined area.
It's something the England football team could be trained for, isn't it, to roll a ball into a defined area?
OK, the world's oldest case of dandruff, what?
Now decorates the White House pillows. Lovely image.
It is quite sweet. The answer is that world's oldest case of dandruff found on dinosaur from 125 million years ago. The discovery of dandruff on a dinosaur fossil had one leading paleontologist scratching his head, which he now realises that's how it got there. Next one. Pensioner banned from Wetherspoons after what?
After making a pro-European comment?
No, it's a pensioner. Pensioner banned from Wetherspoons after row over missing chicken. Mr. Elliot was banned from Wetherspoons pub in Camborne for complaining there were only 5 pieces of chicken in a meal that was meant to have 10. Wetherspoons chicken nuggets can be dipped in a thick, sticky sauce if you drop them on the carpets. OK, next one. Bees are the first insects that have been shown to understand the concept of what?
Brexit.
Nectar points?
Oh, yes. Very good.
No.
No.
Zero.
Zero?
They understand the concept of zero, particularly, apparently, bees living in the West Bromwich area.
There are some football fans who believe the name of your club is West Bromwich Albion nil.
Right. Finally, man who survived Pompeii, what?
Goes to Hiroshima.
Has been rejected as Italian finance minister.
I know this. He was hit in the head. They found one of the bodies left in Pompeii, and he survived the initial shock and the lava, and then he was hit by a bit of falling masonry.
No, Ian is right. The answer is hit by rock. After surviving the initial eruption of Vesuvius, one man was struck by some falling debris. Let's please have a look at how they found him after a recent excavation.
Gutting.
So the final scores are Ian and Lucy have 4 points, but Paul and Henning have 6 points.
Oh, well, there we are.
You got everything right.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
I've seen him on YouTube. He was teaching that pug dog, and he's still at it there, teaching the Hitler salute to all them dogs.
You always have to bring it up, don't you?
Next one.
Of course, I was turned down for the conga.
And I leave you with news that the government admits that funding cuts are affecting their witness protection programme. In Scarborough, new research on the benefits of sea air is attracting all sorts of visitors with respiratory problems. And recent paparazzi photos from Ant McPartlin's countryside retreat suggest his rehab is still work in progress. Good night.
Sticking with the Friday night comedy, Tracy Ullman's back, along with some new faces, but you'll definitely recognise them. Tracy breaks the news next. Gabby Logan has highlights from the